Hey gang, this is Bill Storm. Thanks for tuning in today. Hey, today we're going to talk about how it's made. Specifically, we're going to talk about how a book funnel is made and why you definitely want to have one if you own a business. So this kind of got inspired by the television show by that name, How It's Made. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it's really cool. I'm super curious about how things are actually made. I'm actually just in awe of who the creative force is behind these things and how they manufacture and how they put things together. Really cool show. If you've never seen it before, you can Google it, how it's made, and check out some of the episodes. But anywho, I wanted to talk about how a book funnel is made again, and why you definitely should have one if you own a business. I'm actually going to break this up into 3 different parts. The first part we're going to talk about is the book, right? How to actually author a book. And I use the word author versus write a book because in this instance, you don't have to ever lift up a pen or a pencil, right? Or an Apple Pencil. All you have to do is be able to tell me your story. Tell me why you started your business and what it does for your customer and why it's so amazing. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this in the form of an interview. And literally to create a book, it literally is only going to take us about 90 minutes. The first 30 minutes will be to do some brainstorming, kind of clarify exactly what I'm looking for. Then I'll send you a questionnaire for you to fill out. It'll just help give you some clarity about the kind of things that I'm going to ask. Then we'll jump on a call and I'll interview you for about 60 minutes. Now, it's going to be very conversational and it'll be a lot of fun. I want you to think about Oprah, for example, right? She just did an interview not so long ago here with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So basically, she sits down with them, very comfortable, very conversational, and she just asks them questions and lets them respond and answer. So you don't have to have all of your thoughts together. I'm experienced in this, so I can make you feel really, really comfortable, and we just have a discussion. It's just like if we were sitting down having a cup of coffee, and I was just curious and asking you all about you and what you do and how you do it, and we just have a conversation. Well, that conversation then becomes recorded. That recorded conversation then gets turned into a transcript, and that becomes the copy for your book. Now, we have all different kinds of people and how they like to actually take in content. So one way is they can actually read it. The second way is they like to listen to it like an audiobook, and the third way is video. So the wonderful thing about this is all 3 options would be available if you so choose. Okay. Now, the book itself, we're not writing a piece of fiction, right? We're not writing a big Harry Potter book or something like that. What the idea behind the book is, as it relates to business, is the book is your lead magnet. This is the thing that gets your a person to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm really interested in that. I'd like to check that out. Then within the book, this is where the magic happens. This is what I would call the secret sauce. Inside the book, there's a very specific way that this book has to be written. Okay. And what I mean by that is we have to make sure that there is emotion created around the character in your story, which is generally you. Okay. And also some of the examples of maybe some of your customers that you use. We want to create emotion, right? So that the person who is reading this lead magnet, this book that you have, starts to feel this connection, right? They start to feel like they know you. They start to feel like they trust you, and they start to become more inspired to learn more. Then what we do is then we tie it in with logic. So there's an actual way, there's an actual science behind the questions I ask and in which order I ask the questions. So we create a lot of emotion, and then we tie it in with logic, and that leads the person to want to do one specific thing, and that's to click the link that you have within your book, right? Which is called your call to action, to then follow up with you in any particular way that you'd like them to proceed. So one of the ways that you might like them to proceed is to have a conversation with you. So maybe your call to action is to book a call with you. Maybe your call to action is for them to buy your product. Okay, whichever way, it doesn't matter what your call to action is. The point is that we've taken your idea, and we have given the person an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you, but it also gives you the opportunity to educate, motivate, and inspire them as to why you're different, what makes you special than everybody else, and how will your product or service deliver the outcome that they really want. So a book is not only great for somebody who's new to business. It's also great for somebody who is a seasoned veteran in business. And the longer you're in business, the more, I actually think even the more important it becomes, right? Because this gives you credibility. When you have a book and you have your name on that book, it instantly makes you an expert in their eyes. And I just think it's a really professional way to present yourself. And I also believe that it helps you stay away from using kind of really low-level tactics where you have to, resort to, specials of the month type of a thing, or, if you don't act today, it'll disappear, right? All of that is complete BS. And you really don't need to do that if you have a book like this that really ties in all of the amazing things about what you do and who you are as a person in the movement or the culture that you've created through your product or service, and how it's going to serve the needs of your customer. Okay, so the book itself, I know that if I sat there and I thought about, hey, I'm thinking about writing a book, that task seems absolutely daunting and overwhelming. So this is actually great, right? This literally is only going to take about 90 minutes of your time. You don't have to write anything. All we have to do is have a conversation. I capture that information, turn it into a transcript, and bam, there we go. We've got this amazing product that you can now use, and you can take that online and use that as a lead magnet. The other thing that's really wonderful about this is when you use a book like this, it makes you feel good psychologically, okay? Because what we're looking for is somebody online to virtually say yes to you. And a yes in the online space is somebody who clicks and opts in because they want a copy of the information that you share. So literally every time somebody opts in and you see their name come in, it's validation for you, and it psychologically makes you feel good. It makes you feel more confident in your product or service that says, yes, there are people out there who are actually interested in this thing, the thing that you put your heart and soul into. That is a yes. Now, if they're willing to say yes once, they're interested in the title, of your book, and they're interested and they download your book. Now, the next thing that's really, really important is that inside the book, that the content is super. Now, how do we make it super? Well, it's really through the questions that I ask you is what makes it special. I've seen a lot of people try to shortcut these things. Because they were told, hey, you know what, it doesn't really matter. All you need to do is get somebody to opt in. That's BS, okay? I have downloaded multiple different things, and what I got was so poor. The quality was so poor, it literally repelled me immediately from that person, because I said, okay, this person isn't really interested in sharing what they do. This was literally just a scheme. This was a tactic. This was a manipulation to get me to click. And then what they delivered was so poor that I can't even imagine what kind of product or service they would actually deliver that I paid for. If it's as bad as what I got for free, no thank you, okay? So we want to make sure that the content inside your book is really, really super. It creates emotion, it really educates people and makes them see you as an authority, and definitely makes them want to take the next action. Now that then rolls over into part 2, which is building your book funnel. Now the sole purpose of your book funnel is that's your conversion tool. That's the thing that takes somebody who's raised their hand and say, yes, I'm really interested in your book. They read through your book and they're like, wow, this is really amazing. This person, I feel like this person's really speaking to me through their words. And now what I want to do is I want to see what the next step is. How can they help me, right? So now they're sticking their other foot in the water, right? They put their first foot in the water by raising their hand to get your book. Now they're feeling comfortable enough where they want to jump in with both feet. And your conversion tool has to do a really great job of showing them how you're going to get them from where they are now to where they want to be. So that will be in part 2, and we'll talk about that later. But what I want to do right now is I want to just jump over and show you just a couple of examples, so it will get you thinking about and get you, picturing what's possible for you. All right. So I'm going to bring up this book cover, and this is really simple. One of my clients, Dr. Charlie, runs medical weight loss clinics in Connecticut. He is now looking at expanding his practice all over the country. All right. And that's in the US, by the way. Okay. So his business is, his whole business is about sustainable weight loss, medical weight loss specifically. And one of the things that his patients say time and time again, one of the things that he's really passionate about is the fact that his patients have, that haven't been able to lose weight, it's not their fault. And the reason it's not their fault is because they've been misinformed. And he's really passionate about this when he talks to me. And he says, you know, everybody believes that all you have to do is just take in less calories than you consume, and you just need to increase exercise. And he said, Bill, he says, that's just not true. He said, there's other reasons, medical reasons why that's not true. So somebody can lose a little bit of weight initially, but then what happens is they hit a plateau. And then they get really frustrated because they keep trying to do the same thing, and it's just not working for them anymore. And he said, so the thing is what I want to do is I want to educate my patients how to overcome that weight loss plateau, right? So once they get past it, once they understand, once they're educated on what they need to do in order to pass that goal, now these people are customers for life. They're so happy because you know, mentally it's taxing on them. Physically, obviously, they don't feel good. Their energy level is down, and they're desperately looking for a solution. And they're just so tired of, you know, the same old, same old. So I said, man, I said, that's amazing. Let's create a book around that. So that's what we did. We did an interview. It was myself and Dr. Charlie and his wife, who's a physician's assistant, and one of his registered dietitians. We had this really candid conversation. It was a great talk, and we took that and we turned that into a book. So this is the end result, and you can see a picture is worth 1,000 words. Here's a picture of all different, you know, women here that are, you know, anywhere from, you know, thin to heavier, different ages, and so on and so forth. So the picture is a great attention grabber. So when he uses this online, somebody is immediately first going to identify with the picture. Then they're going to look to see what the title is. And it says, How to Overcome a Weight Loss Plateau, a candid conversation with Dr. Charles and his team. So somebody who has been struggling with this, if they've hit the plateau over and over and over again, they're going to raise their hand and say, yes, Dr. Charlie, I'm interested in that. So once they get it, now once they get into the content itself, they're going to be really wowed about this. I know I was, because there was a lot of things that I didn't understand that he explained very, very clearly, that made me understand exactly why somebody wasn't able to lose the kind of weight that they had wanted, and how they hit the plateau, and then how they fall off the wagon because they get frustrated. And then he basically provides the solution, and he just says, hey, listen, you know, if you'd like to learn more about how we work with our patients to do this, here's the call to action where you can reach out to this and become part of our community. So I thought that was a really, really great book. And within the book, we talked about several of his patients and the struggles that they had faced and how they overcame them, and so on and so forth. All right, and let me show you one more just so you can kind of see what's possible. I'm excited about showing this to you because this is the cover of my new book. And let me just bring this up. Okay, so the right side of the book, Slaying the Seven Dragons, the Entrepreneurial Hero's Guide to Conquering the Online World of Business. The dragons in this case are actually the 7 challenges that someone will face as they're growing a business online. And I use dragons as a way to really picture them, right? To relate them to something that somebody may understand, especially when we're talking about a hero, right? I talked about the hero's journey, which is yourself in this case, and or your customer, and you're trying to relate it to them, and you're trying to show them, hey, here's where this young knight was that was trying to grow this business online, and along this journey, here were the challenges that he faced. Well, I didn't want to just say challenges. I wanted to relate it to something that seemed like you know, overwhelming and scary and fiery and dangerous. So I decided to use dragons as an example. But anyway, you can see that the cover of this book is very eye-catching. You know, putting this online, anybody that I've showed this to so far has said, "Wow, no, that's amazing. That looks fantastic." But the magic then is between the pages. This book is going to be approximately 100 pages, and inside I'm going to share the 7 challenges that I faced that surely you will also. I've also share some stories about some of my clients that I've worked with and some of the challenges that they faced and how they overcame them, how they slayed their own dragons in order to reach the success that they want. And then you can see, just as an example, on the back cover, if you go down about 3/4 of the way down, you can see a URL, slayingthe7dragons.com/call. That is one of the calls to action that I have within this book. And there are multiple different calls to action within the pages, but this one is directly on the back. So as somebody is reading this, if they start to relate to my stories, and I create emotion within those stories, and then I tie it in with logic, and they start to feel a vibe, and they're like, you know what? I really feel like Bill's going to be able to help me. I think I want to take this the next step. And you can see in the copy on the back cover, it says, if you're ready to be the hero of your own epic success story, the king or queen of your own kingdom, and slayer of dragons, I'd like to be that special person for you. Okay, that special person in this case relates to being your guide. Okay, and the call to action is, hey, let's book a friendly 15-minute chat where we'll brainstorm some ideas around your business. All you have to do is follow the link below, and let's get started. So it's a very, very low-key, professional way of approaching somebody. It's absolutely perfect, especially if you're an introvert. There's nothing slimy, cheesy, manipulative, or scheming about it. It's just, hey, you know, if what I shared with you is resonating with you, let's have a conversation, see if we're a good fit, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. So that is part 1. This is part 1 of how it's made, creating a lead magnet, which in this case is your book. A very professional looking book. And in part 2, which I will send out separately, we will talk about then taking this book that you've created and now turning it into an actual book funnel to convert your interested prospects that have raised their hand and said, yes, I'd like to learn more, and how to convert them and how to take them down the path that you want them to take, whether it's buying a product, booking a call with you, purchasing your course, joining a group, whatever it may be. Your book funnel is the thing that is going to take them there. That's the vehicle that you're going to use. So thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions around this, please make sure that you reach out. You can reach me by Messenger on Facebook, or you can email me at billstorm@billstorm.com.